thank you for watching my channel today. My name's Sarah and my channel is called Your True Shelf. Today I am doing a video of the books that I read in the month of January, of which there were 5. Nearly 7. I missed by like a day with 2 of them, but never mind. So, a good start to the year anyway. So, the books that I chose, so let's start. I'm just going to do them in the order I read them. So the first one, I'll have to insert a picture because this was an ebook that I read. It was the last in a series. It's a romance series and the book is called Still by Kennedy Ryan. So the first 2 books in the series are called Flow and Grip, and this follows the relationship of 2 characters called Grip and Bristol, who are an interracial couple. So Bristol is white and Grip is black, and it's in America. And the first 2 books I gave 4 stars and I enjoyed them, and the last book was brilliant. Like, it was so good. I gave it 5 stars. So I can't obviously give anything away really in terms of plot, but they handled, so the author chose to really kind of focus even more on the racial dynamics of their relationship, and it was very interesting. And they talked a bit about like the criminal justice system as well, and sort of racism within both of the communities. And then they also had like another issue which I won't spoil, which was a very difficult issue to tackle, and I thought the author did it really well, and it was a really brave thing to take on. And I really was like blown away by the book. Really good. I'd really recommend the series. If you like romances, then I'd definitely recommend that you check the series out. Like I said, the first 2 books are enjoyable, yeah, really good. But the last one was brilliant. So that's the first one. The second one that I read was one for the Reading Women Challenge. That was the challenge for this. The prompt for this one was to read a previous Women's Prize winner. And of the ones I had, I chose this one, which is Property by Valerie Martin. So this follows, oh god, what are their names? Manon is the main female character's name, and she is married to a plantation owner. And the plantation owner is a really unpleasant man, and she's a really unpleasant woman. And there's a slave called Sarah who the husband bought for Manon for I think it's a wedding gift, and he has had an affair with Sarah and they have a son together. And it's basically just like the life on the plantation from the white slave owner's point of view, and it talks about their constant fear of rebellion and slaves escaping, and how all of them are turned even more sort of like bitter and twisted by their sort of fears about what's going to happen. I didn't love this book. I gave it 3 stars. For me, it was like the characters were so unlikable that it kind of spoiled the book for me. And I know the characters were obviously supposed to be unlikable, but I didn't really care about them at all. I really cared about the slaves, and we didn't hear anything from the perspective of the slaves, which I was really disappointed by. And so I'm gonna give this book away now. It's not one that's gonna stay on my shelves. The writing was good, but yeah, unfortunately I just didn't really enjoy it that much. The next one I read was one non-fiction book, which was called The Things You Can See Only When You Slow Down. It's by Haemin Sunim, and it is translated by Ji-Young Kim. And this is a book, as you can see, I've got quite a lot of highlighted bits in here. This is, the guy who wrote this is a Buddhist monk, and there are sections on so rest, mindfulness, passion, relationships, life, the future, and spirituality. And they've got really lovely artwork in here as well. So the artist is called, hold on, Yongchol Lee is the artist, and I really like their work. Like, I'd really happily have some of it on display in my house. It's so pretty, but I can't find any to buy online, unfortunately. So sweet. Look, so lovely. So each chapter has like a mini essay at the beginning, and then it's like lots and lots of really short kind of quotes, well not quotes, but short little bits of wisdom. So kind of like that. So I highlighted quite a few things, which I like to go back to these in the future and read the ones that I highlight. But it wasn't like as good a spiritual book as other ones that I've read. So yeah, they've just got like, okay, so I'll just read a random one that I've highlighted. So, from a young age, some children are told to compete, worried about what their parents will say, insecure about how their friends will judge them. Let them know it is okay to enjoy life. Help them discover talents that cannot be graded. Respect them so they know what it feels like to be respected. So just stuff like that. So I've highlighted those. And I will go back and have a look at them. But I don't think that it was as good as some of the other spiritual books that I have. And so for that reason, I have given this one 3 stars as well. So lots of, well, 2 3 stars in a row. Then we have a book which I've been wanting to read for ages, which I'm one of the only people in the world who hasn't read. And I did this as a buddy read with Heather of Soggy Expat Book Nerd. And that is, so it's a bit shiny, The Northern Lights by Philip Pullman. So this is of his Dark Materials trilogy. I watched, so the annoying thing is I watched the BBC adaptation of this, which was brilliant. But the book, apart from a few places, the book stuck very closely to the to the TV series, and so there wasn't really much suspense for me. Whereas for Heather, she was like, you know, really on a cliff edge with some of the bits, and was really shocked by some of the things that happened, which I already knew. So that's kind of annoying for me, but I still really enjoyed it. I still gave it 5 stars. So for anyone who doesn't know, this is the story of Lyra Belacqua, who is at a sort of a version of Oxford College where she's grown up as an orphan, and she has an uncle who's an explorer, and she basically has to go on adventures to try and save children who are being taken by people called the Gobblers. So it was really enjoyable. I really loved it. I love the demons. So the demons are, each person has their soul outside of their body in the form of an animal demon. And so yeah, it's a really unique concept. Heather and I are going to buddy read books 2 and 3 together as well. And because I obviously haven't watched any further in the TV series because it hasn't been released yet, then I will get that suspense and drama from books 2 and 3, which I'm really looking forward to. And then the last book that I read was another one for the Reading Women Challenge, and that was, so I can either use it for the prompt, which is a book set in Japan or by a Japanese author, or a book translated from an Asian language. And the book is called Strange Weather in Tokyo by Hiromi Murakami, and I can't remember the translator, so I'm going to put the details of that on the screen when I edit this. So I've had to give the book back to the library now, so I can't read it off the cover, but I'll put a picture of the cover in the corner. So this book I really enjoyed. This is a little book. It's about just over 200 pages, and it's about a girl called Sakiko, and she's probably about 30, and she is at a bar one night, and she's just eating, and one of her old teachers from school comes in to the bar, and she calls him sensei, which is obviously her for teacher, and they just start chatting at the bar, and they don't make any arrangements to see each other again, but over time both of them just go to the bar quite regularly, and then they both, so when they're there, they chat and they form a friendship basically, and then you follow how that friendship develops over the course of, I don't know, maybe the first year or so. And it's really lovely. Like, it's a very slow book, but the writing's really beautiful. the descriptions of the characters and the scenery, like the cherry blossom trees, and what the bar's like, and the food. There's a lot of description of the food in there, which sounded really nice as well. There's just lots of kind of good writing, and so it doesn't matter that the plot's slow, and it's very like romantic and like old school, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I gave that one 4 stars, and I would definitely recommend the book. I'd also read more by Haemin, and I've got 2 Japanese books at home still to read, but they're both by male authors, so I can't use them for the Reading Women Challenge, but it's sort of spurred me on to read those as well, because I really enjoyed it. So that was everything that I read in January. Let me know if you've read any of those books and what you've been enjoying and reading in January, and I will speak to you all soon. Bye!